There comes a time when people get tired. We are here this evening to say to those who have mistreated us so long that we are tired. Tired of being segregated and humiliated. Tired of being kicked by the brutal feet of oppression. We have no alternative but to protest. For many years, we have shown amazing patience. Sometimes we have given our white brothers the feeling that we like the way we were being treated. But we come here tonight to be saved from the patience that makes us patient with anything less than freedom and justice.
Professors and scholars, my name is Guy Glenn. My professor is Professor Days. I am in the 5th grade. I will be taking the perspective of Yolanda King. Before I start, I would like to say a few things about my father. My father let us be free. My father helped us be free. If you cannot fly, then run. If you cannot run, then walk. If you cannot walk, then crawl. But by all means, keep moving. Everybody can be great because everybody can serve. The time is always right to do right. Faith is taking the first step, even if you don't see the whole staircase. We may have came on different sips, but we're on the same now. Life's most present is in question. What are you doing for others? We must build dikes to hold back the flood of fear. We shall overcome because the arc of moral universe is long, but it bends towards justice. My dad had a dream that his 4 children would live in a nation where they were not judged by the color of their skin, but by the continent of their character. Power to the people.
My name is Valencia Chapman, and I'm in the 5th grade from Professor Day's class. Today, I will be talking to you in the perspective of Coretta Scott King, and also saying one of my husband's speeches. Okay, now, you may be 38 years old, as I happen to be, and one day you get a special opportunity that calls you to stand up for some great principle, some great issues, and some great causes, and you refuse to do it because you're afraid. You refuse to do it because you want to live longer. You're afraid that you will lose your job, or you're afraid that you will be criticized, or you're afraid that you will lose all your popularity, or you're afraid that somebody will stab you, shoot at you, or bomb your house, so you refuse to take a stand. Well, you may go on and live until you are 90, but you are just as dead at 38 as you would be at 90. If you take a stand, then the sensation of breathing in your life is but a belated announcement of an early death of the spirit. Now my husband has took his stand. What about you?
Now, what does all of this mean in this great period of history? It means that we've got to stay together. We've got to stay together and maintain unity. You know, when Pharaoh wanted to prolong the period of slavery in Egypt, he had a favorite formula for doing it. What was that? He kept the slaves fighting among themselves, but whenever the slaves get together, something happens in Pharaoh's court, and he cannot hold the slaves in slavery. When the slaves get together, that's the beginning of getting out of slavery. Now let us maintain unity. Secondly, let us keep the issues where they are. The issue is injustice. The issue is the refusal of Memphis to be fair and honest in its dealings with its public servants who happen to be sanitation workers. Now, we've got to keep attention on that. That's always the problem with the law of violence. You know what happened the other day, and the press dealt only with the window breaking. I read the articles, they very seldom got around to mentioning that fact. 1,300 sanitation workers were on strike, and that Memphis is not being fair to them, and that Mayor Leo is in dire need of a doctor, and they didn't get around to that.
Next revolution, if something isn't done and done in a hurry to bring the colored people of this world out of their long years of poverty, their long years of hurt and neglect, the whole world is doomed. Now, I'm just happy that God allowed me to live in this period to see what is unfolding. And I'm happy He allowed me to be in Memphis. I can remember when Negroes were just going around, as Ralph has said, so often scratching where they didn't itch and laughing where they were not tickled. But that day is over. We mean business now, and we are determined to gain our rightful place in God's world.
As you know, if I were standing at the beginning of time with the possibility of general and panoramic view of the whole human history up to now, and the Almighty said to me, Martin Luther King, which age would you like to live in? I would take my mental flight by Egypt, through or rather across the Red Sea, through the wilderness on toward the Promised Land, and in spite of its magnificence, I would stop there. I'd move on by Greece and take my mind to Mount Olympus, and I would see Plato, Aristotle, Socrates, Euripides, and Aristophanes, assembled around the Parthenon, as they discussed the great and eternal issues of reality. But I wouldn't stop there. I would go on even to the great heyday of the Roman Empire, and I would see developments around there through various emperors and leaders. But I wouldn't stop there. I would even come up to the day of the Renaissance and get a quick picture of all that the Renaissance did for the culture and aesthetic life of man. But I wouldn't stop there. I would even go by the way that man for whom I named had his habitat. And I would watch Martin Luther as he tacked his 95 Theses on the door at the church in Wittenberg. But I wouldn't stop there. I would come on up even to 1863 and watch a vacillating president by the name of Abraham Lincoln finally come to the conclusion that he had to sign the Emancipation Proclamation. But I wouldn't stop there. I would even come up to the early 30s and see a man grappling with the problems of the bankruptcy of his nation, and come with the eloquent cry that we have nothing to fear but fear itself.
The weakness of violence is a descending spiral begin the very thing it seeks to destroy. Instead of diminishing evil, it multiplies it. Through violence you may murder the liar, but you cannot murder the law nor establish the truth. Through violence you murder the hater, but you do not murder the hate. In fact, violence merely increases the hate. Returning violence for violence multiplies violence. Adding deeper darkness to a night already devoid of stars. Darkness cannot drive out of darkness, only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out of hate, only love can do that.
The Negroes lived on the lonely islands of poverty in the midst of vast ocean of material prosperity. 100 years later, the Negro is still languishing in the corners of American society, and finds himself in exile in his own land. So we have come here today to dramatize an appealing condition.
Today, in spite of the difficulties and frustrations in the moment, I still have a dream. I have a dream one day my 4 little children will live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but judged by the consciousness of their characters. I still have a dream. I have a dream one day little children will be living in a nation where little black children will be holding hands with little white children. I still have a dream.
I have a dream that today, one day, every valley shall be made in high spirits. Every hill and mountain shall be made low. Every rough place shall be made plain.
That's all right. Take your time.
Every crooked place shall be made straight, and the glory of the Lord shall be revealed, and every flesh shall see it together. This is our hope.